Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 388. Today we've got a lot of good stuff to talk about, other stuff that we were going to cover from previous days, but we didn't have enough time, so we're going to cover that today. In terms of new developments, there's really nothing new other than just, I'm talking about Iran war, of course, the biggest elephant in the room, the thing that is on the news everywhere. It's just missiles that are being sent at each other. There's nothing really major being developed there. No signs of a ceasefire yet. No end in sight, really, but we could only, for the best, of course, the best outcome. Best outcome for crypto and Bitcoin, right? That's going to be amazing. Good evening, Greg Crypto. Welcome. Okay, so let's get into the crypto analysis. Bitcoin managed to stay above 70,000, which is something I did want to see, and it just makes me further understand, or makes my belief more firm that we can hold the 70,000 and continue higher. The uptrend will continue is basically what I'm trying to say here. Bitcoin's price is 71,250. And it's looking okay so far. Yeah, today I did predict we will kind of relax the rise a little bit. We were in the overbought territory and we hit a resistance at 74,000. So we a well-deserved break, otherwise it would be unnatural to immediately rise to 80,000. You gotta learn to calm down a little bit. Tomorrow, we are expecting some economic data to come in, and it's going to be for jobs data. The non-farm payroll and unemployment rate. Very important. Okay, come on. So we did have yesterday, can I just see this week's stuff? Just to get a glimpse as to what to expect, we had ADP numbers come out as well, which is the same as the non-farm payroll, except that it's more private, I guess, so they make up their own numbers here. A revised data, once again, L, but we were expecting 50,000 jobs to be added. We actually added 63,000 jobs, which means that the jobs market may be expected to stabilize. Now, this is not a complete indicator, of course. The one that matters the most is, of course, the non-farm payroll. It's in the red, right? We previously added 130,000 jobs. No revision, finally. We are expecting 59,000. We'll see how much we actually end up getting tomorrow. Unemployment rate, we're expected to stay in line with what we had before, 4.3% unemployment. Let's see if that improves, if the unemployment rate drops. I don't even think I should be saying it like that, because we want bad jobs data, but we also, have this issue with inflation as well, the stagflation that the Fed is worried about here. If the jobs market is bad, if unemployment is on the rise and we didn't add a lot of jobs, then that's not going to be good for the U.S. economy itself. Now, for rate cuts, that's going to be phenomenal. The only thing that's putting it in check, I guess, is the inflation. Inflation has also been on the rise. What does the Fed prioritize? Do we cut rates, rise inflation more to save the jobs market? Or do we not not cut rates, leave them where they are? Rather, we would have to start hiking them, which that's going to be super bearish for the rest of the crypto industry and every asset, really, because it will strengthen the dollar if you hike rates. I'm sure this is going all over your head, but we want some economic data that will make us understand, or I don't know how to explain this. We don't want stagflation to be an issue, is basically what I'm trying to say. And we still do want a rate cut. So we want inflation on its way down. We want the jobs market to at least be in line with expectations, I would feel like. We'll see. It seems like a lose-lose situation. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, I do expect us to at least try to maintain the 70,000 level. We'll see how well that does. If not, I mean, 66K is still on the table, but it shouldn't be too much of an issue. I don't think we're going to drop all the way down there because of bad economic data. Rather, I think it will just help us reinforce our movement toward the upside in preparation for the upcoming week or 2 weeks. I do expect Bitcoin to continue on the rise for the upcoming 2 weeks. up to a target of 80,000 at least. I do plan on exiting around there, so we'll see. We'll see what my mood is when the time reaches that. That's what I think for Bitcoin. Still continuing its way up overall. I love it. Ethereum, similar, equivalent to the 2,000 level of this 70,000 for Bitcoin, right? Our lowest today was 2,053. Not too bad. Current price is 2,090. We hit our highest at 2,200. Same deal. I do expect us to maintain 2,000 for tomorrow and for this weekend. That way we can start having a good preparation for a rise tomorrow, not tomorrow, next week. And that will be great. Super trend following this uptrend line pretty well. Also looking good. Even still, like, if we do get, like, bad economic data and do drop crazy amounts, if Bitcoin crashes to 64,500, that is totally fine. We will still be in an uptrend, although it will hurt the confidence a little bit and make me doubt 80,000 in the next 2 weeks. You know, we still have the chance, right? As fast as we rise, we can also drop. So, you know, just be cautious of that as well. Solana losing $90 here. I've can't help but realize how weak Solana is looking. Bitcoin rose 7%. Solana only rose 4% on this day, I think it was. It's usually supposed to be a more volatile coin than Bitcoin, of course. But it didn't have that kind of volatility. There was not enough push or demand for this thing to be on the rise. Yeah, we did have a bit of a fake out, an early rise, a premature one, but that was because we didn't see Bitcoin break above the 70,000 during previous rises over here. So Solana had no reason to be above 90, which is why we started being, you know, shaky around here. Double fake out. Ultimately, we are now in the right direction. An uptrend is confirmed for Bitcoin. It should also be so for Solana as well. So I'm not going to slam it for not being able to stay above 90, but I'm still a bit concerned with the percentage. It's not really rising as much, right? It almost feels like people are willing to buy a rally on Bitcoin rather than a rally on maybe any other altcoin. I'm pretty sure a lot of altcoins were not rising as much on whatever day, yesterday, basically. Yeah. Solana being one of them, to point out. Moving on, Hyperliquid staying above 30, that's great. Current price is $30.62. Even if we drop to 27, we'll be perfectly fine. Just part of the uptrend, right? And this one's been in an uptrend for a longer time, but what concerns me more is also, you know, the triangle thing that we have going on here. Illuminati confirmed. Which way will it be, up or down? I have a feeling it will be up. It has to be. If we do expect Bitcoin to hit 80,000, Hyperliquid must also benefit from that kind of a move. Litecoin, also not that great of a rise. Uptrend nonetheless, which is fine. Current price is $55.66. I do expect it to also continue on the rise. I still think it's really undervalued. Oversold. Nobody wants it right now. And maybe that's when you're supposed to enter. Not financial advice. I don't have money. Even if I did, I probably still wouldn't. I'd just continue to go all in on Bitcoin. I would not be buying any alts at this time. Maybe that's a foolish decision. Maybe that's conservative and wise. I'm going to go for the latter. BitTensor is $188.61. Also maintaining its uptrend. Look how long it's been flatlining. Ever since 18th of February, it's had its uptrend and validation at 161. I think it's only a matter of time before this thing starts rising, especially by day after tomorrow on Saturday, when volatility is low. This thing will just have to start catching back up. So I would expect super trend and validation level to be on the rise, which should be a good thing overall. That means we expect BitTensor, of course, to continue higher. The only thing that's like the lid on top of the pot, it's the $200 resistance level of BitTensor. We do hope we are able to break out of that in a clean fashion, because we have poked above it before, but we've never really closed a candle, at least not the 4-hour ones, anything above $200, right? So I do want to see that happen. A close above 200 and stay there and smile about it. Moving on. SUI, 95 cents. Not being able to break $1. Come on now. Where is the uptrend? I'm still going to follow this one. I'm not going to draw another one over here. It's very likely to be broken, especially over the weekend. If we're just going to flatline below $1, we need Bitcoin to approach 80,000. Then we could start seeing some big move on SUI, perhaps. And by big move, I mean like, I don't know, maybe 130. Is that really possible? I mean, I think it is. I really think it is possible for SUI to make a crazy move like this to 130. A 30% rise from $1 if we do manage to break out. On a good day. On a really good day. Absolutely possible. Moving on. Chainlink. $9.24. Okay. Maintaining its uptrend pretty well. Supertrend's already trying to go on its way up as well. I'm also as concerned as we were with Hyperliquid. Similar triangle formation thing here going on. But I still expect it for an upside breakout, of course. Breaking above $10 to continue higher for Chainlink. That's what I think. Monero following the drawing to the T, and so is that super trend. Look at that, the cherry on top of it all. I'm not actually in this trade, but if I was, I'd be a millionaire. Is that enough flexing? I think that's enough flexing. I'm just going to delete it all now. You guys understand. I predicted the move 1-to-1 perfectly. No mistakes. No redrawings. It was all perfect. And we did indeed invalidate this downtrend here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Uptrend is in our favor for Monero. And the rises can be explosive for this one too. Once the privacy narrative kicks in, again, for the third time, it's going to be a really important move. Don't get me wrong, I don't think we're going to see this much of a move, because this one was mainly driven by, once again, yes, the privacy narrative, and also the fact that Zcash disbanded or whatever. So, of course, Monero was going to take advantage of all the clients that left Zcash under the privacy token to flock over to Monero. And I do genuinely think Monero, great project. Great for criminal activity. Thumbs up. Moving on. Oh, I skipped Hedera completely. I mean, not much has happened here, but still maintaining its uptrend. Do we even have a downtrend here? I have to zoom out. What are we looking at in the weekly charts? Oh, we absolutely do. But this is a very long-term one. What does this look like? Looks like we're... Okay, this one actually looks relevant to where we are right now. Let me just adjust this in the daily charts. Slight adjusting there and there. Looks very relevant. We're about to break out of that, so maybe this was already here before and I just deleted it in the previous stream. Absolutely might be the case. So, yeah, it looks about right. Bullish overall. We're poking through this, and I do have a feeling we will continue with the rise if this was indeed our bottom. It's too recent to tell. I don't know. March 3rd. Yeah, according to Supertrend, yes, it should continue rising. How high? 11,303 maybe. We'll call it at 11 cents, I feel, is a fair target. Sure. We shall see. That is all for the crypto analysis. You know, I've been researching what else I should do for the channel. I have been reading the Bible. I've gone through Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and I'm in the middle of Numbers. And I've been reading the New International Version. The issue now is that I looked it up and I'm like, can I actually upload this without getting a copyright strike? Because my channel has had a lot of copyright strikes because of my other narration videos. That's why I don't title them the books that I read. I don't title them with the authors or none of that. I let the algorithm decide, and if they catch me, they catch me. Congratulations. You won't, but I never put like the title of the book that I'm reading anymore. I'm just going to put like the chapter name or whatever it is. But in this case, it's the Bible. I'm like, it's just the Bible. Everybody can read the Bible. But then I realized the NIV is also copyrighted. So all of that I just read over these past 3 months is basically, I don't want to say it's garbage because it's good to read the Bible, but I mean, I've just been wasting my time with editing, first of all, huge waste of time. And also, I mean, reading it itself, I wouldn't call it a waste of time, but you get the point, right? It's not something that's going to be able to see the light of day. Now I'm thinking I could maybe just take the risk. If they copyright me, so be it. Maybe I could get a licensing for it, but that's just a big process, and either way it's likely that they will decline me because I'm literally just audio booking whatever they have, narrating their version of the Bible. So my third option is to redo literally everything and on a different version that is public domain, that is free, it's copyright free. I will not get my channel taken down for it. And that version, one of the only few, it's the King James Version. And that's a very common one too, but the English is so old. I tried reading some today and it was not that pleasant to read. Because it's all just old style, old-fashioned words. I don't like it, but I think I'm going to have to go through it either way. And then what am I going to do with everything else that I just read? I'm just going to have to retroactively go back and reread literally everything. But I have a whole life ahead, so it's a project for the future. I will eventually get some of it out. That's why the uploads have not been consistent anymore, in case you cared or asked. That's all. That's a little life update. Anyways, let's go on to the news. So what do we got? Small updates for Iran war. The US Treasury, it mainly has to do with oil, by the way. The US Treasury eases oil sanctions on the Kremlin, Russia. This would allow Indian refineries to buy the millions of barrels of Russian crude on floating storage until early April. Why are we easing sanctions on Russia? Because of the Strait of Hormuz? Maybe? I don't know. Scott Bessent also posted this. President Trump's energy agenda has resulted in oil and gas production reaching the highest levels ever recorded. To enable oil to keep flowing into the global market, the Treasury Department is issuing a temporary 30-day waiver to allow Indian refiners to purchase Russian oil. Despite the fact that we literally put tariffs on India for buying Russian oil because India was the biggest buyer of Russian oil. And with that money, Russia was using to continue funding the war in Ukraine, which was an issue. We want the war in Ukraine to also end. So we're like, how do we weaken Russia? How do we give them a hit to their economy? I don't know. We'll sanction their biggest buyer. We'll put tariffs on India again. Until eventually India caved and they're like, you know what? Yeah, the tariffs are a lot. After doubling down, by the way, they're like, you know what? We're going to walk it all back. Fine, United States, you win. We will stop buying Russian oil. Give us a good deal, please. We'll buy your oil instead. And Trump is like, good little Indian fellows. Here's how much oil you can buy. And now Russia, well, they really didn't take a hit either way because China stepped up their buying game and now they're just buying a lot more of the Russian oil. I think it was China at least, right? So literally no impact happened there. But now here we go, we're allowing India to start buying Russian oil again to keep it flowing into the global market. Because the Strait of Hormuz is closed. That's 20% of the global oil supply taking a hit, making it more scarce. Part of the reason why we see oil on the rise. Now we try to mitigate this by increasing our oil production in the United States, taking Venezuela's oil, and this is another example of it, taking oil from literally anywhere else we can. That includes Russian oil. We're trying to offset the damage of energy prices from the war in Iran using the war in Ukraine. So it's like, okay. Anyways, it's funny. It's interesting. This deliberately short-term measure will not provide significant financial benefit to the Russian government. Okay. As it only authorizes transactions involving oil already stranded at sea. Okay, so they're not going to make a lot of profit from this, the Russians. And another thing to note is that it's a 30-day waiver. Why specifically 30 days? Do we expect the war to end in 30 days? Maybe? That's interesting. India is an essential partner of the United States, and we fully anticipate that New Delhi will ramp up purchases of US oil as well. This stopgap measure will alleviate pressure caused by Iran's attempt to take global energy hostage. They really do got to do something about the oil problem, the United States, that is. The reason is because it has a correlation with inflation as well. I talked about it before. Energy costs go up, the cost of transportation goes up, the cost of products and services will also have to go up to cover the cost of transportation. Consumers end up paying the price, inflation, etc. It weakens the dollar. It will show up bad for the economic data that we have been seeing. We also have to increase military spending. There is inflation involved in there. We also have to... the interest payments on top of the tariffs that we have to maybe refund if companies start suing the US government for the tariffs that were deemed illegal by the Supreme Court. Another whole issue. Yeah, a lot of money printing is going to happen. What benefits? Maybe this little asset right over here. Maybe. But it's also going to be an issue for the Fed, the stagflation issue, like I said. If inflation does not go on its way down, we're not going to be cutting any rates anytime soon. But I think that's like a win-win situation. We're still getting the inflation we want. And if this whole war stuff and energy war is not in the way, and inflation starts coming on its way back down, the Fed will start to turn on the money printer by cutting the interest rates, and will eventually have this same kind of effect just in the future. You're delaying the inevitable. I think it's a win-win overall. Let's move on to the north, Canada. What are we doing here? Mark Carney says that Canada will not rule out participation with the United States in military action against Iran. All right, so I guess we're sending Canadian soldiers there too. And, I mean, do they really need us? Like, really? What good can the Canadian soldiers do? I'm not underestimating them or anything. Sure, they did a good job in World War II, allegedly, but come on now. No disrespect to the veterans. But don't we have other stuff to focus on instead of a war that literally does not have to do with us? It has nothing to do with the United States either, right? Iran does not threaten the United States, is what a lot of people are saying. But yet the United States is still involved because of all the military bases that they do have over there. So that's the only threat that I could really see in that sense. But Canada, though, like, come on. I maybe understand, what were the other countries? Maybe Turkey, maybe France, maybe England, because they had their bases hit. Turkey had to stop a ballistic missile in their territory. Turkey is a NATO member. Maybe the NATO countries get involved. That's where I guess Canada would step in, sure. But I mean, the United States is also a NATO member. So why isn't the rest of NATO also attacking? You know what I'm saying? I guess they're saying, like, if it's a direct attack on your own soil, which in this case would be Turkey, Turkey is a NATO member, then NATO gets involved. That is part of the reason why Ukraine wants to join NATO as well. Because since Russia is attacking Ukraine, their territory, an attack on one is an attack on all. NATO, all of NATO will also have to get involved in that Russia-Ukraine war, and it would be this big mess, the West versus this entity that is Russia. We're going to be on a multi-front war, and it will be a huge issue. So, I don't know if I agree with this. I don't know if I agree with this either. Well, we had Prime Minister Narendra Modi coming from India. And, well, looks like we're investing $100 million in scholarships for Indian students. Why not Canadian students? But okay. We're including 200 fully funded University of Toronto spots and 300 plus research positions. Dude, it's already way too flooded. We do not need this. But I mean, it's just inevitable at this point. Canada's population growth will not be from babies. It will be from immigration. Is it the same like that in a lot of other countries? Of course, the Indian flag is immediately there. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the only one that notices this. How will we all die? Probably from MAID, medical assistance and dying. Apparently, we're about to reach 100,000 people killed via MAID. If you don't know what this is basically assisted suicide. Physician-assisted suicide killed over 16,400 Canadians in 2024. That's 44 deaths per day of assisted suicide. And it's not the Indians that are dying, I think. I don't know. Right? We're getting replaced is kind of what I'm trying to say. But enough of that. Enough of the Canada problems. Let's talk about the Jeffrey Epstein. The Clintons had their depositions. I've been saving this news for a couple of days. This came out March 2nd. Even before this, they already had it. It's just that the full 4-hour deposition went live on, I guess, YouTube. Yeah. So I guess you could see the questioning or the hearing that they had for the Clintons regarding the Jeffrey Epstein case, of course. I couldn't really find too much of interest in there, other than the obvious, but they just denied a bunch of the claims. Fox claims that Hillary Clinton agreed to testify in the Epstein probe only if cameras captured her from flattering angles and additional lighting was provided to make the footage present the former Secretary of State in a more visually appealing way. Yeah, this is the kind of seriousness we're taking it with. So you could already tell it's a big nothing burger. The only highlight that I could truly find was when they interrogated Bill Clinton, the poor guy. They asked him, I think it was Nancy Mace, one of the people who were asking the questions. This is the lawyer of Bill Clinton. And they asked him straight up, why did Epstein say that you like your woman young? And he says, well, none of it is true. And then when he starts to drink his coffee, he's literally spilling it all over the place. Where's the foot? You see the shakiness? You see that shakiness? I don't know if I just want to play it off as it. Poor guy, he's old. But, okay, come on. Yeah, literally you have these types of images too. The pool images. It's not AI. It didn't exist in 2000. So, yeah. No excuses there. You're caught in 4K. I guess you could just deny it all. And yeah, nothing much else came of that. But Nancy Mace is doubling down, of course. She says that we're moving to subpoena U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi. It seems like the woman and the administration of Trump are falling, little by little. We had Marjorie Taylor Greene fall out. Well, Nancy Mace is safe for now, for whatever reason. Wouldn't surprise me if she's somehow targeted by Trump next, especially with all of this that's going on. I don't think that Trump will, because I feel like he has a soft spot for Nancy Mace, and so do I. But it seems like Pam Bondi might be next. We already had Kristi Noem. I'm going to spoil this ahead of time. Kristi Noem, whoops. Here we go. Well, okay. Kristi Noem is also on her way out. She's been fired from the Department of Homeland Security. I've heard that Tulsi Gabbard might also be next. We don't know. But anyways, for Pam Bondi specifically, she claims that the Department of Justice has released all of the Epstein files, but the record is clear that they haven't. The Epstein case is one of the greatest cover-ups in American history. His global sex trafficking network is larger than what is being revealed. 3 million documents have been released, and we still don't have the full truth. Videos are missing, audio is missing, logs are missing. There are millions more documents out there. We want to know why the Department of Justice is more focused on shielding the powerful than delivering justice. The American people deserve answers. Victims deserve justice. Hold the line. Yeah. And we also have Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, who has agreed to an interview with House Oversight over his ties to Epstein. We'll keep our eyes peeled for that one, too. Now they're attacking Nancy Mace. The House Ethics Committee is investigating Nancy Mace for allegedly seeking reimbursements that exceeded her reimbursable expenses. I have no idea what that means. I'm assuming it's bad, but there you go. She's not getting out scot-free. They're going to start to attack her as well for this. So we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. Transgenderism. Trump announced the Save America Act. Here's a list of what it includes, I guess. We already know, we've heard about the Save America Act, but we're just waiting for this to pass Congress, I guess, something. The Save America Act includes all voters must show voter ID, identification, sure. All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. Yeah, that should also be a thing. No mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. Sure, I could agree with that. No men's and women's sports. Obvious. And no transgender mutilation surgery for children. Great, except, it says, without the express written approval of the parents. And that bottom line is what a lot of people are not really agreeing with, right? Some are claiming the original post was photoshopped. While President Trump quickly edited his statement after the backlash, that claim is not true. After the backlash, President Trump edited his post championing the transgender mutilation of children with written parental consent, changing it to simply no transgender mutilation for children mutation. Aha, but it seems like it was photoshopped though. Without the express written approval of the parents. Yeah, I agree that part has to go. Just simply no transgender mutilation surgery for children. Leave it at that, and we're good, in my opinion. Because stuff like this will happen. OpenAI CEO talking about the Tumbler Ridge school shooting that happened not too long ago in British Columbia, Canada. 18-year-old transgender, I think it's male to female, goes and shoots up a school because anger issues, also after killing his own family in his own home. Using ChatGPT, by the way, to express his manifesto or his desires, and ChatGPT, instead of reporting it, I'm sure they would have had some form of a, hey, wait a minute, don't do this kind of moment. But no, it seems like they should have reported it, right? They should have put them on a list, whoever is asking these questions, to have the FBI equivalent in Canada, so the RCMP, investigate what is going on. OpenAI staff could have reported the shooter's activity to police, but they chose not to, and now Sam Altman must issue an apology. All right, well, that's just what happens, I guess. Now, Kristi Noem. She's out now. Trump posted this on Truth Social. I am pleased to announce that the highly respected United States Senator from the great state of Oklahoma, Markwayne Mullin, whom we have talked about before. He will be the United States Secretary of Homeland Security, the DHS, effective March 31st. End of this month is when he steps into power. The current Secretary, Kristi Noem, who has served us well and has had numerous and spectacular results, especially on the border, she will be moving to be Special Envoy for the Shield of the Americas. Is that a promotion or a demotion? That's the new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere that we are announcing on Saturday in Doral, Florida. I thank Kristi for her service at Homeland. I think this is a promotion, actually. Okay, so she's not fired. Kind of. People are saying that she's been doing a bad job, especially because of the whole ICE situation. We're not getting a lot of mass deportations either. That was promised throughout the campaign. That's another issue. But at least the border is secure. But what about the border wall? Stuff like that. People who criticize. Serving 10 years in the United States House of Representatives and 3 in the Senate, Markwayne, the new DHS Secretary, he has done a tremendous job representing the wonderful people of Oklahoma, where I won all 77 out of 77 counties in 2016, 2020, and 2024. Wow, Oklahoma very MAGA, I guess. The guy's a MAGA warrior and former undefeated professional MMA fighter. Okay, I didn't know that about him. Markwayne truly gets along well with people and knows the wisdom and courage required to advance our America First agenda. As the only Native American in the Senate, Markwayne is a fantastic advocate for our incredible tribal communities. Markwayne will work tirelessly to keep our border secure, stop migrant crime, murderers, and other criminals from illegally entering our country, end the scourge of illegal drugs, and make America safe again. Markwayne will make a spectacular Secretary of Homeland Security. Hey, let's hope so. Let's see. Of course, the Dems are celebrating this. Governor Newsom says, "Goodbye, Kristi Noem, adios." Why is he speaking in Spanish? You will go down in history as the most incompetent and cruel Secretary of the Homeland Security in the history of the United States. I'm trying to translate this in my brain. in United States history. Okay, I was close enough. But saying goodbye to you is not enough, Noem. Greg Bovino and Stephen Miller must be held accountable for terrorizing and endangering the American people. Oh no. What about the fires in California? Anyways, weird. Gavin Newsom. So this is the guy, by the way, and you might recognize his face because we talk a lot about this guy and his insider trades. He might be the new... I don't want to say he's the new Nancy Pelosi, because nobody can topple the real Nancy Pelosi when it comes to the trades, but he's been hitting some good ones recently, and we covered this one before. The new choice for DHS Secretary, Senator Markwayne Mullin, he's been a pretty prolific stock trader. Last month, we caught him buying a stock in Raytheon and Chevron just before the US strike on Venezuela. And also, very beneficial, of course, these companies with currently what's going on. He knew, dude. He's got that insider information. So, it's great. Can't wait to see how this turns out. Nice. AI bot man, hello. Watching this on TV and pull it up on your computer just to tell me to keep it up. Hey, man, thank you so much. Cheers to you. Glad you enjoy it. So, we also have another senator, Chris Van Hollen. He's proposed no income taxes for anyone making less than a living wage. Now that is based. This would theoretically eliminate income taxes for almost half of America. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. We don't use taxes for good anyway. It would be paid for by a new tax on millionaires. Hey, that's better. Tax the rich, right? What are we talking about living wage? 48K or under, if you're single, like me. And 92K for married couples. Okay. So if that's the kind of salary you would make, this is a proposal. I don't think it's actually out yet. Yeah, it's proposed. But that's interesting. Because, yeah, taxes sucks. Especially if you live off minimum wage. You're just getting bombarded with all this stuff. It kind of gives you like a head start. Kind of. Right? I don't know. Do people oppose this or approve of this? We're taxing millionaires more. 40% of Americans will pay no income tax. Wait, this happened already? That's a lie. I mean, it's there's no tax on tips, right? That's part of it, I guess, if you work like a restaurant job, I guess, or delivery. I don't know. But yeah, interesting nonetheless. Anthropic. We can't stop talking about them. But anyways, they launched an AI exposure index that shows computer programmers are most exposed, with 75% of tasks automatable, yeah. And hiring for workers aged 22 to 25, hey, that's me, has slowed in AI exposed roles. Yeah, that's why I'm struggling with life to find a decent job in whatever I studied. Cybersecurity. Yeah, so what do we do now? I pulled up my old certificates. I don't know why I was just going through old documents. I'm like, oh yeah, cool. I got this thing, by the way. Never gonna use that. Haha, am I right? My fintech and cybersecurity certificates. Yeah, they're just there collecting dust. That's okay. The US Fed, the OCC, and the FDIC jointly clarify that tokenized securities should receive the same capital treatment as traditional securities. I'll go into this in more detail if you don't understand what this means. The ruling will apply regardless of whether they are issued on permissioned or permissionless blockchains. Grok, what does this mean? We will issue joint FAQ guidance. Banks can treat tokenized securities exactly like traditional ones under capital rules. So anything that's a blockchain version of a stock or a bond will be treated the same. The same risk weights, no extra reserves required just for using blockchain, whether permissioned or public or permissionless. It's technology neutral, and it removes a big regulatory hurdle for banks adopting tokenization. That overall is great. Here is more detail about this. The US just quietly gave big banks the green light to hold tokenized securities, and this is a big. It's just a big, that's all. So the Fed, OCC, FDIC, they released a joint statement. 3 of America's most powerful financial regulators speaking with one voice. The message was simple. Tokenized securities get the same capital treatment as traditional securities, the same rules, same collateral recognition, same risk weighting. Blockchain or no blockchain, it makes no difference now. That's good. Great for adoption. What else? This is bigger than most people realize. Banks were previously sitting on the sidelines waiting for regulatory clarity on crypto assets. That excuse has just disappeared. A tokenized treasury bond is now treated exactly like a regular treasury bond on a bank's balance sheet. A tokenized stock is treated exactly like a regular stock. Permissioned blockchain or public blockchain, it doesn't matter. It's the same treatment. That's what this means in plain English. Every major US bank can now hold, trade, and use tokenized assets as collateral without any regulatory penalty. Trillions of dollars in traditional assets are about to find a new home on the blockchain. I mean, yeah, if the option is there, you can toggle that. Why not use the blockchain technology? It's much better. So good for adoption, actually. The Wall Street just got permission to move into crypto on a much bigger scale. The Wall Street. Okay. Yes, here's even more about this. We just eliminated the most popular excuse on Wall Street is that they were waiting for regulatory clarity on tokenized assets. That's gone. So, yep. Tokenized versions of stocks and bonds get the same capital treatment. I'm rereading the same stuff. Banks have wanted this for years. They couldn't move not because the technology wasn't ready, but because nobody would tell them what holding a tokenized bond actually cost on the balance sheet. A tokenized treasury might have been fine, or it might have triggered extra capital requirements that made the whole thing uneconomical. Nobody wanted to be the test case, but now they know. Here's what the guidance covers. Banks can hold, trade, and use tokenized securities without capital penalties. Tokenized assets qualify as financial collateral with standard haircuts, same as traditional assets. Both permissioned and public blockchains will get the same treatment. The SEC added its own piece clarifying that tokenized securities are still securities under federal law, whatever the on-chain format. The FDIC also rescinded old guidance that had banks afraid to even take on crypto clients. The OCC is formalizing what permissible tokenization looks like for national banks. 3 regulators in the same direction. The global tokenized asset market is estimated to hit $2 trillion by 2030. Hey, big for RWA plays, isn't it? Every major US bank has had one reason to wait. They just lost that reason. Good. When can we expect this, please? Can we check the categories? I would like to see that. Categories, RWA. Here we go. It's actually not even moving that much. That's crazy. No one cares. But I guess these are the affected tokens. Where's Ondo? Ondo's the one I care most about in this space. Hedera is also partially there. Chainlink, of course, always everywhere. Mantra is up 42%. Don't buy that thing. Wait, is this a new one? Yeah, they did. They made a new one. Remember Mantra OM? That thing that crashed 90% in one day? For literally, I'm sure there was a reason. Well, here they go. I guess they've launched another ticker, Mantra. I don't like that long ticker, but okay. Also, the OM never really made sense to me. Can I see, like, the actual old chart? Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Being worth $6 to suddenly being worth 6 cents. Lovely. Yeah, cool. Good for Mantra, I guess. Whatever they do anymore. Yeah. Overall, I'm happy about this. This is good. Let's move on. American Bitcoin, Trump Jr.'s... No, not Trump Jr. Eric Trump's Bitcoin mining company. They've increased their holdings to 6,500 Bitcoins as mining-driven treasury expansion lifted the stock. That's good overall. I'm happy for them. Poor miners though, like Bitcoin being at these low prices, it better start rising soon, honestly. Western Union has partnered with Crossmint to launch USDPT. So that is the new stablecoin for Western Union. Launched on Solana's blockchain. Also great. They're partnering with Crossmint. I've never heard of them, but I'm sure they're great. USDPT. Is this out now? And why is it PT? Western Union is not PT. Solana is not PT. Crossmint is not PT. What does the PT stand for? USDPT. US dollar payment token. I guess that's what it stands for. And you can see the Western Union logo on here. And we don't have a chart, so it's probably not out yet. This is like a big slap in the face, of course, to something like XRP. We were expecting cross-border payments to be done using XRP's blockchain. That was the whole purpose of its existence. And then you have something like Solana coming in to take over that, because Solana is indeed just, maybe, I think it is a little better than XRP. So yeah, nobody's using, what is XRP's thing? XRP-R? No, RLUSD. That's such a terrible ticker. Anyways, USDPT, USD payment token. All right. It's designed to bridge the digital and fiat worlds, enabling real-world utility for digital assets. Built on Solana, issued by Anchorage Digital Bank, Western Union aims to launch USDPT, expanding the ways to move money for customers, agents, and partners, and to support the company's treasury capabilities. Let's go. Oh wait, literally XRP was on here. For what? Ripple faces a new rival as Western Union prepares USDPT stablecoin launch. I promise you I did not even look at this until now. Yeah, literally what I was just talking about. Oh, a prepaid card is also coming. Good. Good projects. I like it. Kristi Noem. No, that's not Kristi Noem. Cynthia Loomis. Sorry, I'm mixing up my MAGA woman here. In a CNBC interview, Senator Loomis said that they are working on eliminating capital gains on Bitcoin when it's used as a means of exchange. Does that mean we're gonna no tax on buying coffee with Bitcoin? How can you even tell though? I guess because the blockchain is public. That's why you want to use something private like Monero. But anyway. What was I gonna... When did this come out? This seems like an old video, in my opinion. Because what even is Cynthia Loomis doing these days? It was March 4, 2026? Okay, I guess it was recent. She proposed a $300 de minimis exemption for small Bitcoin transactions to avoid capital gains taxes, aiming to enable its use as a medium of exchange without tax friction. Hey, no tax if you transact with Bitcoin under $300? Sounds pretty good. The idea targets a major adoption hurdle, complex tax reporting on every crypto spend. That's also true. Potentially encouraging merchants and users to integrate Bitcoin for everyday purchases like coffee. That's funny. While Bitcoin enthusiasts often hoard rather than spend, this reform could normalize transactional use, aligning with Loomis's ongoing pro-crypto legislative efforts since her 2024 Bitcoin Reserve Bill. The issue with using Bitcoin to transact, in my opinion, is that a lot of people see it as a store of value, and it also takes so long to get the money over. Not that long, but it's, you know, it's faster than, of course, sending a wire transfer, which will take 3 business days or something stupid, and with a $50 flat fee. But it still takes a while, like 20, 30 minutes. I've tried sending Bitcoin recently. It's taken a while, dude. But if you, I don't know, do something like Solana, hey, that's pretty fast. Pretty instant. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it'd still be fine, because as long as the person eventually does receive their crypto, it will be fine, I guess, to transact with that. But like I said, a lot of people see it as a store of value. I don't want to get rid of my Bitcoins, so why would I spend a coffee on it? Did you not see the story of the Bitcoin pizza guy? I have this other post talking more about that Bitcoin pizza guy, you know? The guy who bought 2 slices of pizza with like 400 Bitcoin or something back in 2011. Well, now obviously he regrets it because those 2 slices of pizza would have made him a multi-billionaire, so rip, I guess. But apparently he's made even worse decisions as well spending even more Bitcoin to buy even more useless stuff during that period of time. It's just a pizza story that took off because of the absurdity of it, of course. But there's other stuff that he also did with his Bitcoin, which, yeah, dude, he would have been super rich. But, oh well. That's why a lot of people don't want to sell off or, like, use their Bitcoin to transact, I guess. Which is why we use other exchanges, of other means of exchange, of course. Like Monero, if you want to do things privately. But anyway. With Bitcoin reclaiming 70,000, crypto Twitter has split into two gangs. Either we're going to 100K, or it's a bull trap and I told you so. I think it's a bull trap and I told you so. What do I think? 100K, although it's possible, it will obviously happen eventually in the future, but like we're talking about this current rise that we're seeing with this uptrend, I think we're going to slow down at 80-something thousand. It has to, I feel like. I don't think we're going to immediately moon to 100K. I wouldn't complain if that does happen, but I don't think it's possible, to be honest. That's my little view of it. We have to like make one more correction someplace down here, maybe even lower, I don't know. And then we will obviously start taking off once again. We have to take into account the midterms, the Clarity Act, the current war that's ongoing. The war that's ongoing, like the worst has already happened. The only thing that could happen with the war is that it will end. And when it does end, we will, you know, continue our way up, business as usual. If it gets prolonged, I mean, this is us during the war right now. Is that bearish? I don't know what to expect later on. So yeah. Here's the thing though, nobody knows who is right until it's already happened. What we do know is what history keeps proving over and over. The people who treated every dip as a discount kept their heads down and kept stacking. They won every single cycle. That's also true. Better buy at these discounted prices. I still am. Every paycheck I'm getting, I'm just dumping it into Bitcoin. Stacking sats was never meant to be a smooth ride. Panic, euphoria, crashes, recoveries, and approximately 1,000 people telling you to sell at every stage. None of that noise matters if you genuinely believe that Bitcoin becomes money one day, because if that belief holds, it won't matter whether you bought at 60K or 100K, it'll only matter that you bought. True. Sailor said it, there isn't enough Bitcoin for everyone as well. Yeah, let's talk about the supply shock issue. By the way, 19.998 million Bitcoins mined so far. We're almost 1 million away from topping out. And, oh, look at that. Did you see that? Look, it's spinning. Why are they doing that? Why are you weird? Are they still doing that same thing with Polygon? Why is Solana animated? Okay, hold on. How much are you guys getting paid for that? Where is Polygon? Dude, did Polygon just die? No, not Polygon. Polkadot. I'm mixing up my polys. Here's Polygon. Where is Polkadot? Am I blind? Here it is. Ew, did they change their logo? It used to have the flame thing and the purple circle. And the circles were all symmetrical. Now they're all 3D and black and white. Cringe. Why did you modernize it like that? Whatever. Weird. Okay, I don't know. I haven't looked at this in a while. USD1, by the way, USD1, the World Liberty Financial stablecoin, is worth more than the whole project. Haha. Get owned by your own stablecoin. That's funny. They animated Solana and Bitcoin. Interesting. Anyways, back to this. We know there will only be 21 million Bitcoins. That's it. That's all there ever will be. But the real number is already much lower than that, because around 3.7 million Bitcoins, it's estimated to be lost forever. Between people who forgot their passwords, threw away hard drives, or died without leaving instructions. And maybe Satoshi himself is dead or something. His 1.1 million Bitcoins, and then Strategy's 720,000 Bitcoins and almost another million. He said that he would never sell, although he has the power to change his mind eventually, but whatever, he will not sell for now. Then the US Strategic Reserve, that we will also never sell, 328,000, until I think it becomes enough to pay off the US national debt. But if that's the case, I mean, Michael Michael Saylor will be a trillionaire first, because we have obviously a lot more. Step it up. Why doesn't the United States buy the million bitcoins? It'll only get more expensive. Or maybe they wanted this thing to crash so they could buy it cheap, but they're not buying. I don't know what's going on. That's roughly 6 million Bitcoin, gone or frozen forever before we even start talking about the other whale institution and governments quietly stacking. So realistically, it's about 15 million Bitcoins that you can obtain, and we're being generous with that number. Now here's where it gets interesting. There are roughly 60 million millionaires in the world. If every single one of them wanted just one whole Bitcoin, there still would not be enough to go around, and that's before the other 8 billion people show up to the party. Now, I don't think all 8 billion people in the world will use Bitcoin, of course, but at least a billion. And if a huge chunk of that, how many millionaires do we have? 60 million millionaires? That's a lot of money. And governments as well. Like, it's not even just going to be individuals, it's going to be companies, entities, governments that will also join on the Bitcoin race. The supply shock, I do feel like it's going to be really exponential. And I still feel like Bitcoin is super undervalued, even at these prices. So, yeah, make of that what you will. We're talking about Justin Sun again. Why this picture? The Securities Exchange Commission drops their claims against Justin Sun. Oh, of course, crime season is back. The US SEC has dismissed its claims against Justin Sun, the Tron Foundation, and the BitTorrent Foundation. I guess his ex-wife didn't, or his ex-girlfriend, whatever, didn't really get to the whole, I'm gonna expose the whole truth thing. Or maybe we're just waiting for something else to happen, I don't know. One related company, Rainberry, which is BitTorrent's developer, BitTorrent. This is the torrenting, literal BitTorrent. Yeah. They agreed to pay a $10 million fine as part of the settlement. The case dates back to 2023, when the SEC accused Justin Sun and his companies of illegally distributing tokens like Tron and BitTorrent. Is it this? BTT? I never heard of this. Hang on. Wait, I think I did look this up before, but it's still, like... Why does it say new? What is this? When did this exist? February 2022. Ah, yes, the classic pump and dump from Justin Sun. They agreed to pay $10 million fine as part of the settlement. The case dates back to 2023. Okay, yeah, BitTorrent inflating trading volume through wash trades and using undisclosed celebrity promotions. Under the new settlement, the claims against Sun and the Tron entities were dismissed with prejudice, which means that the SEC cannot bring the same case again, and Rainberry will pay the $10 million penalty and agree to compliance conditions. So BitTorrent's developer. Yeah, $10 million is a walk in the park. This guy's a billionaire. Who cares? The move resolves one of the long-running SEC crypto enforcement cases that started during the prior regulatory crackdown. Another sign that the US crypto policy environment is shifting from enforcement towards settlements and rulemaking. Lovely. Good, I guess. And some other headlines. Western Union, we talked about. The partnership with Crossmint, USDPT, Solana, lovely. The SEC has submitted an interpretation to federal regulators outlining how securities laws apply to certain crypto assets. Trump says the United States wants to be dominant in crypto and everything we do. Sui Dollar, whoa, what is this? USD Sui goes live, issued by Stripe-owned stablecoin for scalable finance and global payments. Stripe. Really? So Stripe stablecoin is using Sui? This is, and I don't like the name USD Sui. Like, what if you're, okay, it's not fully out yet, but like if you're looking at Sui, like, so it would be Sui USD Sui, right? If you're looking at, you know, it sounds weird. I don't know. So it's launching this year, brings a fully interoperable stablecoin designed to serve as a powerful, genius-ready, multi-purpose digital dollar across Sui. Wow, it is indeed the case. The new infrastructure will power the next phase of growth as Sui scales into one of the world's most active on-chain economies. I hope so. USD Sui is designed to serve as a foundational stablecoin for the Sui network. It offers builders a fully integrated, compliant-ready solution that is interoperable across Bridge's ecosystem and optimized for Sui's high-performance architecture. I mean, every blockchain will have to have its not its token. They already have their token, but like their stablecoin, I guess. And I feel like it's gonna get to the point where stablecoins are just there's too much stablecoins. Can we just stick with one, please and thank you? If it was up to me, just USDT everything. It actually sounds cool to say USDT. USDC is kind of there with it. It's like, okay, yeah, USDC, okay, sure. But then you got these other ones, RL, USD, and then you have UST, which was Terra Luna's one, failed project, deserved. And now you've got USD Sui, you had the USDPT, like all these other ones, it's like, what are we doing? There's too many stablecoins, but anyway. At launch, it will be accessible across wallets, DeFi protocols, and applications built on Sui. USD Sui will also be interoperable with other stablecoins powered by Bridge from major platforms such as Phantom, Hyperliquid, and MetaMask. It's built by trusted partners for Sui developers and end users. Do we talk about Stripe at all here? That's kind of the only thing I want to find out. I'm just going to Control F Stripe. Okay, I cannot type. Please. Oh, there we go. Using Stripe's bridge infrastructure. So it's not powered by Stripe, but we're using Stripe's bridge infrastructure. I guess they're still calling it Stripe stablecoin. Okay, fair enough. Complies with the Genius Act. Okay. That's fine, I guess. Good for Sui. Scotiabank, $1.5 trillion assets under management. They've launched an active crypto picking ETF in Canada. Hey, what is that? Can I please buy this? What do I look up? Scotiabank crypto picking ETF. What is picking ETF? Active crypto picking ETF. Scotiabank active crypto picking ETF. Before I look this up here, let me look this up off screen. Okay, yeah, we're safe. Scotiabank with assets totaling 1.5 trillion, yep. What's the ticker? Is it this? DXMC? Is it this? No. Dynamic. What is dynamic? Whomst. With 3 IQ. Oh, it is the dynamic active multi-crypto ETF, I guess. Hold on. Grok. What is the ticker of the Scotiabank active crypto picking ETF? If it is that dynamic one, yeah, it is. Okay, so it is this. I'm looking this up. Trading view. All right, looking great so far. Lovely. This is crypto for you guys. I mean, you launched it on a bad day. Come on. But it is here, yeah, on the Neil exchange. Okay. Cool. Might buy. What is in this, though? Like, what are we doing here? I have to research this more. Okay, whatever. I will leave that noted for later. Saving that. Can I, like, genuinely save this? Please, how do I save it to my chart? Here, plus. Whoop. Did it save? Oh, I don't think it did. I have too much garbage on here. What is a terrible company? Amazon is a good buy. I think I might remove Intel. Yeah, I'm removing Intel. Yeah, sorry, Intel. Let me get this back in here. I will add this here. I'll research it later. Okay, moving on from that. Elon Musk hints X Money launch as users begin accessing beta wallet features like send, deposit, and yield on X. Yield on X. Huh? Okay. Pro Bitcoin Kevin Warsh. I love that introduction. He's been officially nominated as chair of the Federal Reserve. Didn't that already happen? Or aren't we supposed to wait for Powell to leave? Oh, Powell... What? When does Jerome Powell term end? I've looked this up. I swear it was in May. I'm not getting a clear answer anymore. His term ends on May 15. Yes, that's what I was looking for. So, I thought it was confusing May with March. I don't know what this truly is about, this headline, but okay. At least we do know Kevin Warsh will eventually come. By May for sure. That's when we start expecting the rates to get cut, if you look at the probability charts. In the June meeting, we're going to start seeing our first rate cut. Probably. I guess it's also good to look at this chart before we get non-farm payroll data tomorrow, which we will be covering. Obviously, there will be no rate cut in the upcoming meeting, but the ones after that, you've got a better chance. June. Oh, it seems like we're not going to get a rate cut in June then. One rate cut in July, and maybe one in December. Dude, 3 rate cuts is completely out of the question now. That's crazy. Remember, we did have that priced in at one point. 3 rate cuts for 2026. Now it's just looking like maybe 2 if you're lucky. Yeah, it's the stagflation really like putting the Fed in this deadlock. Do we cut rates? Do we not cut rates? Okay. Chinese electric vehicle company Jiuzhi Holdings signs a $1 billion deal to acquire 10,000 bitcoins via equity. Okay, well, that's not too bad. Kraken becomes the first crypto firm to gain access to the Federal Reserve's core payment system, securing a master account. We talked about that yesterday. And Eric Trump slams big banks. All the time he does that, but okay. He accuses them of blocking crypto innovation while offering low returns and high fees to users. That's new, I guess, in relation to the Clarity Act. Okay. That's all the headlines for now. That's all the news I had for tonight. Let's go. 1 hour stream. Wow, I've been yapping for so long. No work tomorrow. I'm actually happy. Let's go. But I've got a lot of catch up on. Like I said, I have to study some stuff, options I want to learn, and then a lot of reading to catch up on, and it's going to be like this old broken English type lecture for the Bible. It's crazy, dude. I'm going to die. But I'll be okay. So I will see you guys tomorrow's stream, of course. We will be checking out that non-farm payroll data, so stay tuned for it. We'll see the price impact of Bitcoin. My expectation, up for Friday, would be optimal, right? So we can start next week strong, right? At least 72, 73K. That's what I would hope for. Maintaining the 70,000 as a support level would be lovely to see. And then by the time we get into next week, then we can start putting 80,000 on the radar as an optimistic case. And a guarantee for next week. Not next week, the week after that, right? If we do rise or drop or whatever, the next week I do feel like we will approach that 80,000. Let's hope so. All right. Yep, that is all for tonight, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe. I will see you tomorrow. Have a good rest of your evening. Bye.